Hey everybody, good evening. Internet's acting all kind of funky this evening out here. There we are. Let's see here. Hey TikTok. All right, let me see if I can get comfortable here. All right, and then let's put a little music on. It was raining for a minute. Maybe a little bit of that. Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing this evening? Come on by. Sit for about 5 minutes, and uh, just winding down here in my little garden house. Uh, taking a minute to put the day to bed. What time is it? It is 8:52, almost 9 o'clock here this evening. Uh, Here in Atlanta, coming to y'all from Atlanta, East Point, Georgia. Actually, I've got the windows open, got my little ceiling fan blowing here, and got a little breeze coming through. We had storms. Some of y'all that follow Ava and I know that Ava's been trying to redo her studio, and she's put her new floors down, laminate flooring. She's going Thursday to pick her out some cabinets to go on one of the walls in there. She wants to put some cabinets on. No sound? Oh my goodness. Uh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Something's going on. No sound. How can I do this? Let me see what's going on. So let me stop it and redo it then. The devil. Technical problems. I think what it might be is this YouTube might be messing it up. It keeps trying to connect to. Let's turn that off. All right, so let's see if we have any sound now. Um, I have sound on Facebook and Instagram. Good evening, everybody. Eddie Williams Sellers coming to y'all this evening from my little garden house. Look at my shoulder. I'm leaned up on my shoulder. It looks weird, don't it? Let me get situated. Um, let me set up. Let me set up so I can get my breath. Somebody on TikTok over there, let me know if they sound on this. I restarted it. It said there wasn't no sound before. Uh, um, hey, everybody. So anyhow, it's about 5 minutes to 9 here in Atlanta. Uh, Come out and just sit for a few minutes, put this day to bed. I was going to tell some of y'all that y'all know Ava's been working on her. Thank you for the gifts over there on TikTok. Yeah, maybe that's where the money's coming from. People just giving money because I haven't. Well, I mean, I had a little video about some clover that kind of got watched like 40,000 times, but I don't think 40,000 times is enough to get you any money off of it. But so anyhow, but when I do these lives, these little gifts and stuff that come through, I guess it adds up. But good evening, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Um, do y'all ever feel no sound? Good Lord. Yeah, still no sound. All right, then let's do this. I don't know why. Just doing y'all. Let me figure out what's going on here. Let's look at Bluetooth. Bluetooth is on. I think it's going. You know what? I tell you what's going. I've lost an ear pod here in the garden house somewhere, and it keeps switching over to the ear pod. Let me see sounds. Well, maybe I just won't do no TikTok tonight. Sound. Well, I got a ringer on. No, oh, that's. Let's just try it again. How about up here on sound? I don't know. You hear me on Facebook? Heather, I'm going to sign on TikTok. Let me sign on TikTok. Resume live. All right. Heather, look over on TikTok and see if I'm loud. All the folks keep saying I don't have no sound over here. Look at y'all. Look at that. I could do it like that, couldn't I? Let me see. I don't know what I'm doing. Y'all, the devil just tries to come against me. Don't I mock the devil a lot, make fun of the devil. I got a lot of confusion. Go, it's the devil, hon. There was so much confusion in a church one time in, I think it was Corinth, that Paul finally wrote him, said the devil's the author of confusion. They call even confusion on the devil. That God is not the author of confusion. Yeah, that's what they said. All right, Heather. Am I got any sound on TikTok? I see. Let's invite. No sound. Okay. All right. I don't know why I'm not having. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do. Hold on a minute. Let's slide it off. Man, that breeze feels good. Man, we have some storms here. Some of y'all people know that Ava's been working on her studio. She's put her new laminate floors down, and she's going Thursday to get her some cabinets to go in it. Gonna put her little counter on one wall or something. And she walked out there. It had been storming real bad. We took a nap, and she walked out there, and she came back to the kitchen door, and she just said, "Baby," and she had that look on her face. I'm like, "What is it? What happened? What happened?" I knew immediately something was not right. And she said, "Come to look." And I went out there, and a big old limb had fell. We only have one tree left in the backyard, and a big limb had fell over and broke through her, went through the roof, and a big old piece of tree was sticking inside the roof. I got up there on a ladder and took it out, got it out, and then put a little piece of plastic over the hole in our ceiling. So, but anyway, and then we decided it's storming, it's bad, the trees fell down, we're not going to do our evening walk. And then we turned around and did our.
Did you ever have on that guy? Remember that dude that
did our walk anyway? All right, I restarted my phone. So Heather, see if I've got any sound now. Resume. Let's resume. So anyhow, hello TikTok. I'm trying to figure out why I don't have no sound on my audio on my TikTok. It's just the storms and the devil. I think there's an ear pod out here and it's connecting to it. So, but yeah, she had a limb to go through her roof. Look on TikTok, Heather, and see if I got any sound. Okay, so all right, so I got some sound on TikTok. So, all right, so here we go. I don't know what all that is, y'all. Let me get situated. So anyway, everybody, good evening to you. Eddie Williams Sellers, sitting out in this little garden house here in East Point, Georgia. East Point's a little town, city, about 5 or 6 miles from downtown Atlanta. Hey, Yo P. Good evening, everybody. We had storms that came through. Ava's got I was telling people over on YouTube and TikTok, Ava had a limb to go through the roof of her studio out here. We had to get out there, and she just put them new floors down. She's so worried the water's going to ruin our floors. And so we got the limb out of the roof and put a piece of plastic garbage bag over the hole. I'll get around to fixing it later. But anyhow, everybody, hope you had a good day today. Finally getting started with this live here this evening after technical difficulties, or as we say in the Southern Baptist Church, it's just the devil coming against you. I don't know why I find this. I have myself, the greatest thing you can do is make yourself laugh. And y'all, I have so much giggles for the last couple of years and just mocking and making fun of the devil. And I just find myself just silly laughing like a little 6-year-old. Even today, a lot of stuff gets lost in translation when you post stuff, and especially when you post as much stuff as I do. I'm a little bit obsessed with it. But like today, I was just thinking, I'm like, you know what? I started off thinking, I'm like, Donald Trump lies a lot. If you hear him talking, he just lies. You can't believe nothing he says. That old saying about how do you know he's lying when his lips are moving. But anyway, I was just sitting there thinking today, I'm like, Donald Trump lies a lot. And then I turned around and I posted on Facebook. I said, Donald Trump lies a lot. You know who else lies a lot? ... Satan. And I don't know when I posted that, nobody else might have got it, thought it might be, he's just being all negative toward Trump. I was just having myself a good laugh, like the church lady on Saturday night, Satan. That's who else lies a lot. Speaking of the church lady on Saturday Night Live, the Reverend Jimmy Swaggart, who is 90 years old, I seen on TikTok where he had a massive heart attack couple of days ago, and he's in ICU, and they're at 90. His family released a statement, said it's just a matter of time. So, and the reason I tie him to the church lady, because y'all remember that time in the glory years of Pentecost when he was taking prostitutes and hookers into little seedy rundown motels, and he had to go on national TV and said, I have sinned before God, and the church lady had the girl, the actress that was from Atlanta, that was a regular on Saturday Night Live. And then I think it was the guy that his wife shot him. He had them on there. He had her on there one time as Tammy Faye with the makeup running. But they had Jimmy Swaggart on the church lady thing too. So anyway, good evening, everybody. I've come out here and I don't have anything to say. I don't have a whole lot of talking to do, I don't think. I just come out here. I've got a couple of little candles burning. I've got a little fan blowing up above me. And I like to take a minute just to let the day come wind down. Hey, Betty Smith over on Facebook. Good evening to you. I think you in Oklahoma, if I'm mistaken. Hope all is well out in Oklahoma because, man, there's a lot of storms going through the country. I was telling people earlier that Ava had been working on her studio out here and had a limb to go through it. And I love to talk, Heather? Heather, you shut up. That's my daughter. She said, Daddy, you love to talk. Yeah. You know what? As much as I love to talk, I started to post this yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, it was this morning. When you get old, you forget whether it's yesterday or this morning. Earlier today, I went by Kroger. This morning, I went to Great Clips, got my hair cut. And then I run into that Kroger because I got where I love this little brand of rice pudding cups. Ava don't like rice pudding. Oh, my God, I love a little cup of rice pudding. I think it's just the sugar in it. But anyhow, I got in line. And Lord, this older black lady, it was $85 with a few odds and ends. But I'm telling you what's the truth. I started a post on Facebook. The checkout lady at Kroger talked so much, she started giving me a panic attack. I couldn't get away from her. And she just kept talking and talking and talking. I'm like, my God, lady. Hello, Candler Park. Let me see what's going on up here. I have to raise up so I can see these comments. Thank you there, B-Rad, for the gift. Did you enjoy No King's Day, Mom said? You know what? If I'm being honest tonight, other than what I've seen online, like TikTok and people posting on Facebook, I really haven't watched the news much lately. And usually, especially with the war going on in Israel and Iran, you know, in times before, I would take and just set around, just have the news on around the clock. Oh, the bomb! I remember some of y'all young folks won't remember this. The real coming of age of I know which one she is. She is a sweet lady. Yeah, you do know which one she is, Heather. Because Heather had an apartment right in that parking lot of that Kroger. Oh my God, she just kept talking to me. She said, well, what you gonna do today and what you doing and ain't it hot outside? And she just kept on. I'm like, and I felt like, ma'am, I'm about to have a panic attack. Please quit talking to me and let me go. But she is very sweet, Heather. You know who she is. But anyhow, the coming of age of cable TV back in Ted Turner days. Wolf Blitzer and some other reporter, and there was a black man that was an anchor. I forget his name, but he's very famous. He was the broadcaster on the thing. Wolf Blitzer was in Baghdad, and they broadcast that war for the first time ever, cable TV, as bombs was hitting on Baghdad. So anyhow, I sat up around the clock watching all that. But anyhow, with the No Kings protest across the country, I just really haven't kept up with it. I kind of have to take the whole political Donald Trump thing in measured amounts because it's so dark and so heavy that I have to focus on making music videos or writing. Working on a rehab over here on Key Road. It's starting to get dark, y'all. I don't know how long I stay out here. I might have to turn the light on. But I will tell you this about lighting. The darker it gets, the younger I look because the face doesn't show all the cracks and the wrinkles as it gets darker and darker. So, but yeah, you can feel a coolerness in the air after the rain has went through. But good evening, everybody. Everybody over on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. Coming to you live, just sitting out here this evening. Ava, we just got through with our walk a little bit ago, and Ava's inside making her a little bit of pasta. And she come out to the garden and got fresh herbs, and she's in there dicing up basil and stuff, and you can just smell all them herbs. I really can't eat much herbs like cilantro and basil and stuff like that. My system is not well with it. But good evening over there, Marietta and Covington and Candler Park and Glenwood Park and Grant Park and Ormwood Park, and good Lord, Atlanta's got a lot of parks around it, don't it? College Park. Yeah. So anyway, y'all, have y'all ever maybe some of y'all can feel this too. Do y'all ever feel stress in your body? Um, I went by the Key Roadhouse earlier this morning. I got up and I thought, well, uh, I need to get a couple little things done. Well, in the last couple of days, James, the guy that's doing some work for him, he's poured the bathroom completely out in the floor. And so I went by there this morning. I'm feeling pretty good, whatever. I go in there and I look. I'm like, oh my God, all of this wood around this house and here it's got to be pulled out and replaced. And I could just feel the stress just get in the back of my neck. And I started rubbing the back of my neck like that. And I'm like, oh my God. I said, I just need to go ahead and leave today and just let my brain process this instead of me trying to figure out how, what, where, how much, all that. And so I left, went and got a haircut, went by Kroger. And but the rest of the day, I could feel a tension in my neck, like just a pulling, almost like a crick in your neck or whatever. But I know it's just stress from like, oh my goodness, that's just stressed me out to see how much it's got to be done. And so I don't know, maybe if we're aware of that, like I did, I just stepped back away from it and got away from it. And I'm like, just give myself a day to kind of let my brain process that, because it was worse than what I was expecting. Yes, we did, Betty. Heather's living in her home now. She posts pictures of it and all over there. Yeah, we finally got through with that. And Heather got back home probably about a month ago. Betty was saying, did we ever get Heather's house? Wasn't just that was basically a build back. That whole house had to be built back. It was awful. It caught on fire. But yeah, she's good. Thank God that Heather's house is done. And now we're doing a Key Roadhouse, which is just a little rental house. Y'all, let me tell you about the rental house. Larry and Rebecca, we call her Becky, Larry and Becky, they rented that house on Key Road, 3-bedroom, 1 bath, 13 years ago, 13 or 14 years ago. They lived there. And when they rented it back then, we rented it to them. It was a pretty decent deal for $700 a month. And so over the 14 years or so, they done a very little fixed income. I never went up on the rent. So the house now, if it was being rented, it would be about maybe $1,600 a month now if I rented it. But I just kept their rent for all those years at $700 a month. So about a year and a half ago, I talked to him and I said, because I'm telling you, for people that own houses and property in Atlanta, thank y'all for all the hearts over on TikTok. I'm just going to babble tonight. People come in, come out, stop by, say hey, go back and watch your TV. I'm just out here talking. So about a year and a half ago, I told Larry, I said, Larry, we got to go up on the rent. I said, because the $700 a month ain't even really covering the taxes and insurance. I mean, the taxes on that little house is like $4,000 a year. And then the insurance is like $200 a month. I said, the $700 a month, that's just much less if you had to pay to put a hot water heater in. So anyhow, I went up to him from $700 to $800. First time in 12, 13 years I'd went up on rent. Well, they called me about something, the floor or something, and I go by there to see them. Well, they're sitting over there in that house, and their lights are not on. And I asked him, I said, Larry, I said, y'all don't have no lights in here? And he said, Eddie, they cut our power off. That extra $100 that we had to come up with to pay you was our light money every month. And he said, we're going to get them back on, but it's just put us in a bind. We can't afford to pay the lights. So I'm sitting there, and these are sweet people, and I'm like, well, my God, just go back to $700 a month and get your lights turned back on. And so anyhow, we went back down on the rent to $700 a month. And so anyhow, he stopped by there because we're buddies. He stopped by there the other day. Me and George was over there walking. He comes in. I know it's dark, y'all. I might turn the light on. Hey, TikTok, let me turn the lights on. See what kind of lighting we got. How's that? That's better, isn't it? Yeah, it's not as creepy as sitting out here in the dark. So anyhow, he stopped by there, and when they moved out, they moved in with her son-in-law or something somewhere, and yeah, it is better, Linda. So he told me, he said, Eddie, you can't find nowhere in Atlanta for $700 a month. I'm like, duh. And he said, we're looking at like a trailer way down in Griffin, Georgia. And even a trailer, they want like $1,200 a month to rent it. And so, yeah, and it's just, it's just something as a landlord, which I've been a landlord now for years. This can be the, well, it's not the last, well, anyway, I think if I had it to do over again, I'd do leases with people where they had increments where it went up, especially because some people will rent a house for 20 years, a house they could have paid for, but a lot of people prefer renting because if the hot water heater goes out, the HVAC goes out, they just pick up the phone, call the landlord. And Eddie's tea room. So anyway, good evening, everybody. I'm coming to you from my little garden house out here in East Point, Georgia, going out broadcasting across the world. Hello, Australia and Canada and New Zealand and Kansas. Isn't it weird? Isn't the internet that Al Gore invented, isn't it amazing how that you can just kind of thank y'all for the gifts over here on TikTok. These people over on Facebook, they stingy. They don't give you nothing. People on TikTok, you talking, they just say, here's your quarter. Here's your $1. There's your $2. They say the people over on YouTube's even cheap. You know what? For people, influencers on YouTube supposedly was the big cadoodle where you make a lot of money on YouTube if you could get enough subscribers and people going on and stuff like that. Thank you there, David. David says, Eddie, you are a natural, a great storyteller. Thank you. I think I'm a pretty good storyteller, and I think being that I've lived the life that I've lived, and I also understand that writing is an emotional thing. And I had there's a sweet lady on my Facebook page, Melissa. She told me one time, she said, Eddie, you're a very emotional writer. You write what you feel. I don't know how anybody could write and not do that because your mind and your emotions and all come into the membranes of your fingers or whatever. So, but I do enjoy writing. And for some of you people out here that run across this and see this, I've always felt, and I don't know if I'm phrasing this right, I've always felt like writing, I'm a very selfish writer. That I don't really write to get accolades or people say you're a good writer or people say I want to buy your book or none of that. I write because I selfishly enjoy it. And so until I did TikTok, for about several years, I kept my Facebook. I know this is Ava laughs about this, but I'm an email deleter. I go if I've got spare time on my hand, I'll just go through my mail and stuff and message and delete. I know it's somewhat on the spectrum, and I've come to kind of accept the fact that maybe we're all on some kind of spectrum. But I'm on some kind of spectrum with some kind of ADD or something but I like to delete stuff. So anyhow, for years, for example, if I go buy 3 new shirts, I'll I have to take out 3 shirts out of my closet because it'll mess my head up. I'm like, nope, 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 nope. 3 shirts got to come out. So I've been doing that for years. But also with Facebook, when I first joined Facebook, I had all these hundreds of people I've known from church days and this and that. No, just friend requests, accept this and that. Then I realized Facebook can turn out to be just a big old nightmare with the wrong kind of people on there. So I sat there one day and I'm like, well, this is not any fun to me no more. So I deleted like 600 people off of my Facebook page and got it down to 150. So then I thought, well, I'll do this just like I do my closet. I'll limit myself to 150 people that can be on my Facebook page. And if somebody interesting comes along, I'll accept their friend request, but only if I delete somebody that's on there that ain't whatever. They ain't posting, they just kind of on there. So I did that for several years and kept my Facebook page to 150 limit. On the spectrum, I get it. It's my spectrum. But and then I got real trigger happy too, that at least little people say, well, I don't believe in homosexuals. I'm like, block, delete. And a lot of them my family. I'm like, I never knew I had so many racist and homophobic people in my own kinfolk. Good Lord. It's embarrassing. So anyway, what I was getting to, but I loved Facebook because I could do a morning post of my writing. Yeah, you didn't lose much if you lost them over Trump. Others said you lost a lot of Facebook friends over Trump. But Facebook afforded me, I could get up every morning, which I'd done for years anyhow. I'd write a little thing about the mac and cheese was too cold at Mary Mac's, or some little life story to start my day off, just to have an excuse to write. And so I did that for like 7 or 8 years, like 150 people, whatever. Do my little morning post, maybe have 3 people to comment on it, 20 people to like it or whatever. I'm like, but I didn't write to get people to like, oh, I like it, and you're a good writer and all that kind of stuff. So then TikTok comes along. And so I've got this rhythm to me of about 3 to 4 paragraphs every morning, little writing posts. So TikTok comes along. And for about a year, I take my morning post that I type on Facebook and I hit the little phone button. No, I won't delete you off Facebook, Linda. But actually, if I finish that part of the story, I don't delete anybody off Facebook now. There's like 1,500 people on there that's on my friends thing now, 1,500. So now I just leave it open. Not only that, I went the totally opposite the way I used to be. I'll accept any friend request. But even with the friend request that I do get now, which is very slowed way down, I'll look, and if it's some guy holding a Confederate flag, no, we're not doing that, you know. Or if I scan them through their page and they're making some kind of thing about undocumented immigrants need to leave, no, you're not. I don't want bad energy. So, but yeah, I'm accepting anybody now because I've changed my paradigm, shifted on that. So anyhow, when TikTok come along for about a year, I started, and it was very awkward in the beginning, just very awkward. That I do my morning post, and I'd be like, hello, everybody. Good Tuesday morning. This is Eddie Williams. So it's the morning post. You know, I went yesterday to Mary Mac's, and I sat in the back corner, and there was a waiter that was real busy talking, and the macaroni and cheese was delicious, and yada, yada, yada. Do my little morning post. And I did that. Very little response. 50 people, 100 people. Did it for about a year. And then I went viral where I had a few videos that even got up to 3.5 million views on it. Then I thought, well, this is kind of intimidating. And I remember telling Ava, I'm like, I did a morning post, and for the first time, read it, because I had a system where I'd read it one time. If I screw it up, it's screwed up. I don't care. I want to capture it in the first reading, this and that and the other. And so I was sitting outside, and when it started to happen, I'm like, I posted a morning post the day before. I drove by your shop yesterday. I had to be somewhere. I would have stopped by to say hello. I wish you had, Andrea. I worked yesterday too. I work only on Mondays, y'all. I'm over there at the shop every Monday, come hell or high water. But any of y'all, Ava's wonderful, Linda. She's inside eating her some pasta late at 9 o'clock here. I'm going to finish this. We're going to call it a day and maybe watch a show and go to bed. But she's fine. Had a limb to go through a studio out here in a storm this afternoon. But anyhow, I'm getting off my story. So anyhow, I remember when I went viral. Well, then my writing comes into play, my morning post. So the day before this, I posted a morning post, and it got clicked on 30,000 times, and hundreds of comments. Mr. Sellers, I enjoyed this post this morning. I love your writing. You love your style. And I'm just so shocked. I'm like, oh my God, how do I handle this now? So the next day I told Ava, I said, it's kind of awkward now. Before it was just kind of, but now if I post something, there's a possibility. I have over 100,000 followers. There's a possibility 10,000 people might read this. And I said, I want to make sure I do it right. And Ava's advice to me was, Eddie, don't. Just do what you've always done. Shit on it. Just do what you've always done. Don't try to do it different. Don't try to make it better. Just be you. Just read whatever you write. Just read it and go on about your day. And I say all that to say this, that do I like having a bigger audience? Of course. Do I enjoy the fact that although I'm a selfish writer, and I'd write even if there wasn't, I was writing. I can go get books on my thing and read you Morning Post when I was 49, 20 years ago. I was just writing it on a piece of paper before the internet. And but do I like the possibility that of this right here of being able to, because I'm going to tell you this, y'all. Writing is the way I minister. Writing is the way I preach to people. Writing is the way that I tell you a better days are coming. Writing is the way that I send healing to you. Writing is the way that I let you know that I'm connected to you. We're all connected to each other. And hey, Life of Rach, or Rach, Life of Rach. Hey, back to you too, darling. Ava is a sweet lady. So anyway, do I love social media? Of course, I do love social media. Am I ready for the midterms to really crank it up? You damn right, Skippy. Do I like having a voice and a platform? Of course. My internet's starting to go in and out, y'all. Am I going to really get deeply involved in politics as it's gearing up? Yes. Thank God. She wasn't. She wasn't in her studio, but she was pretty. If she had been, and that big limb come through there, it wouldn't have hurt her, but it would have terrified her, because she would have thought that was the prelude to a big tree coming on top of that little. Because it's a little small studio. It's only 12 foot wide by 16 foot deep. Just a little studio. And but it would have been terrifying if she'd been inside there. But anyhow, y'all, let me wind this down and call it a day. What have we been on? Oh, good Lord, I've been on here for 40 minutes. Yeah. I'm glad she's okay too. I will make it a point to leave the next time in time. Yeah, that would be good. All right, so let me do this to end this day down. Holy Spirit, I'm going to sing. Thou art welcome in this place. Holy Spirit, Thou art welcome in this place. Omnipotent Father, full of mercy and full of grace, Thou art welcome in this place. God, we thank you for this day. God, we thank you for our breath. We thank you for our health. We thank you for our joy. We thank you for our wholeness and our happiness. We thank you for our bed that we sleep in tonight. We thank you for water, for food, for air, for our country. We thank you, Lord, for this internet, for the people out here, for our family, for our neighbor, for our country. Yes, we are thankful for this day. We call this day holy, and it's been a joy to be alive today. Yeah. Love y'all. Good night, everybody. I'm going to go in here and find something on Netflix. See y'all.